If building a 700 horsepower RV wasn't crazy enough, today we're going to be installing a line lock on the front brakes of this thing, all in efforts, you guessed it, to do some big old smoky burnouts. I mean, that's what you do in an RV, right? Warning, working with brakes is a serious thing. You could hurt somebody, you could hurt yourself, you could damage property, and most of all, you could hurt your project. So don't think this as a how-to. So I'm warning you now. Understand? Understood. You know, there's really only two good reasons why you would install a line lock on this thing right here. One, obviously, is to make those big smoky burnouts. And two, is to keep from breaking something. Because you got to think of it this way. There's 700 horsepower of supercharged Hemi right up here from that Hellcat. Right back there is you got 411 gears and 4 tires and some massive 1-ton brakes. You pump the brake pedal on here, you then stomp the gas pedal up here. That thing's gonna motivate. That back there, if the brakes are working like they're supposed to, if they clench down, there's a good chance right here in the middle, things are gonna shatter like dropping a plate on the floor. Whew. That gets expensive and dangerous. So this is the reason why we're also installing that line lock. That way we'll have a little bit more of a controlled way to hold these things while those things let the smoke out of them. You know, a lot of times I get asked, why in the world did I build this crazy thing? How did I come up with this idea? Well, I'm not really sure. I even had a couple of people that asked me, man, what in the heck did you have to eat before you went to bed when you dreamed up this thing? I told them, shoot, I wish I knew I'd eat it again. Now, one thing you may notice real quick, that the lug nuts on this side are backwards. They have left-handed threads. And that's kind of thing that Dodge used to do back in the day, especially in the late 60s, early 70s. So if you're not familiar with that, try to get a wheel off of one of these types. Next thing you know, you're twisting studs off, or you're tightening the heck out of the lug nuts. And if you're wondering, why in the world am I taking the wheel off? Well, that's because all the magic's gonna happen right up in here. The master cylinder is right over there. Whew. Good news is, this thing ain't heavy. I was just making them kind of noises for the fun of it. Oh. You can look up in there and see the master cylinder. Now, the first thing that you'll have to do if you're looking to do this type of thing is you have to determine which one of those lines is the front and which one's the rear, because you don't want to get them backwards. Now, this thing's pretty odd. Now, if you'll notice, it has this big giant lever, and that's the brake pedal from inside of there where the floor is at. You can also see that Hemi laying over there, them orange valve covers, that orange block. So yeah, let's determine which one of those lines is the one we get to modify. We need to slide up under, yep, do a little deciphering. Okay, we got a proportioning valve right up there, that's your front line. All right, so if that line comes over here, that line goes over there, this line here, that means that one right there goes over to here. Let's see, cool. That ain't too bad, I guess. That was easier than I thought. So after a little bit of detective work, what we come up with is this line right here is the one that we're gonna have to modify to make the magic happen. Now this cool little kit right here is how we're gonna make all the great and marvelous things take place. This is a little kit that we picked up from Summit Racing, and it comes with almost everything you're gonna need in normal situations. But ours isn't necessarily normal. So, comes with a cool little instructions. Most people would like take these and chunk them. Never know. We're gonna open this thing up. Okay, we open this thing up here. We'll slide that out of there. Nothing else in there. So where you're going, what does it come with? What is all this stuff? First of all, the most important is this jewel right here. And what that is the solenoid. You have a fuse, have some screws for screwing around, and some plugs, and a big old switch. I like it because it's red. Ooh, that even sounds like bad decisions. So pretty much how this thing all works is you've got an inlet and an outlet, and looks like multiple inlets, multiple outlets. Maybe this is where we should look at those instructions. Figure out which one's the in, which one's the out. Okay, general rule of thought. What this thing is, there's a solenoid right here, and it's got a slider in it. You have brake fluid that flows in and flows out. But what you do is you will push the brake as hard as you can to clamp down on the front brakes, and then push this button. What that will do is energize this red wire, and then it causes the solenoid to trip, closing the valve. Whenever you let off the brake and your finger's still on the button, well, your front brakes are applied as long as this thing is energized. And how that helps is when you let off the brake pedal, that then releases all the clamping force that was applied, or the fluid that was sent to the rear wheels. So now they're free. And with your finger on this, that's the front brakes clamped down. You can hit the gas pedal, and the back end is free to do whatever it wants to. Like spin. So I need to do a little research in here to see which one of my ports are the ins, which one's the out. We also have two here, and it comes with, like I said, 3 screws for screwing around and 2 of these plugs. And with this thing having a port on this side, a port on that side, a port here and a port here, I almost speculate, I don't want to speculate. Let's just see what it says. So what we've come up with, there are 3 outlet ports and 1 inlet port. The top one up here, closest to the main body, and it actually has an M, so I assume that stands for main. That is your inlet. This port, and that port are your outlets. And we took a little light shine through there, and you could see light through all of those. So that means that's what the outlets are. So now all we got to do is put some fittings in this thing to attach to our fuel lines. Oh geez, wouldn't that have been crazy? Whew. Sounds like I'm a professional. Y'all seen the warning, right? Now we just need to mount this thing, and then we can do a little bit of plumbing. Now you want to make sure that you keep this thing out of the way of anything hot, like your headers and exhaust. Also from any other moving parts. You don't want anything to bash into it. You don't want any interference with the wheels turning, nothing like that. Now with this Winnebago, we got a big old clear spot right here on the side of the frame rail, and that's where I'm going to plumb it, and it's also kind of close to the master cylinder. So that should also mean that we have to do a very minimal amount of, you guessed it, plumbing. So yeah, time to do some screwing around. Pow-pow. Sharpie! Well, alrighty, we got this thing mounted. Took a little bit to get all them screws in there, but we have it. So now I need to fab up some lines so that we can run the fluid in and out of there. So what we'll have to do is disconnect this. The master cylinder, whenever you step on the brake, will come in and go into there, and then we can choose one of these ports to connect to and then bring that back up and connect to the line. It's really not all that complicated. We're just gonna have to do a little tubing fabrication. And then we'll probably take this line and attach it to this bracket so that that's not vibrating and doing nothing crazy. We don't want anything to stress crack. So let me make those up real quick. I had to run over to the parts store and grab a few fittings. We can take these over here to the table and I can show you guys exactly what we have. We also, that Winnebago has a 1/4 inch line. A lot of times with brakes, especially on the front, you will have 3/16 line. Now, when you're trying to buy that stuff, the tubing nut, or the tube nut as they call it, is a different thread than the tube diameter on the inside. So whenever you're talking about 3/16 inverted flare or 1/4 inch inverted flare, you're actually talking about the tube itself, that size. We're gonna need a tubing cutter. We're gonna need a few things here. A tubing bender. Yep, probably gonna need one of those. So, grab my little bender here. Grab my little tubing cutter here. Grab my fancy little flaring tool. And we can run over here and make up our little low lines. Clean us a spot. We're gonna straighten out this tubing. Now here are the fittings that I was talking about. Those are the plugs that come in our kit. And kind of got an assortment. And you know, I don't want to hate on any part stores or nothing, but last night I ain't gonna joke to you folks that I about lost my cool because their brass section sucked. It's whoever's managing that store apparently ain't managing the brass department. Man, there was like 10,000 pieces of brass sitting on the top and half of the drawers were empty. So let me calm down before I get all worked up. So what we wound up having to do is buying one of those, which is a union. So we'll screw this little part onto the line itself so that we connect to it with this thing. And then, that's another. Oh, great, look at there. Did y'all see that? No, there's a second one in there. I thought I just got robbed. We're gonna need 2 of these. So I got those. This is a 1/4 inch inverted flare on this end, and then that's 1/8 inch pipe on this side. That diameter is the same as our plug. Let's lay these over. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Yep, basically the same thing. So we'll screw one of them into the inlet of the brake valve, one of them on the outlet, and then connect our tube to it. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, it's an inlet, an outlet, a couple fittings. Let's make some tube. Set that over there. So, any of you guys ever had a line lock on anything? I've installed a few of these things on a couple of different cars, of course. They're kinda fun. Screwed up. I'm curious if any of you guys have done what I almost just did. You gotta slide this tube nut onto the line before you flare it. I mean, this is the first time I've ever screwed up like that. I mean, ever. Y'all know when people are lying to you? Whoa. One down, 3 more to go. I'm gonna slide up under here, kind of mock this thing up into place, try to determine how long I'm gonna need this thing so that I can whack it. Don't go nowhere. Now this is gonna be a little longer than it's gonna have to be, of course. I'm just kinda, let's say, kind of got to just start the process. Get one going, then you can make another one, and you can go on and so forth. You could measure it out, use one of them seamstress rules and get it pretty close, and probably close enough that you wouldn't have to cut it again. That's probably what I should have done. But I'm just trying to have a good time. Make something. Cool little piece of trivia. If you notice, the little bender's got a little Z or a little angle on it. That's actually so that you can mount this thing. A lot of folks don't know that. Once you figure this little trick out, it will almost change your life. Look at that fancy bend. Spirit fingers. Let's look up under there. You guys can check out all my handiwork. I got my lines run, the inlet to the outlet. Well, the outlet to the solenoid, from the other outlet to the inlet of the line. And we have it clamped down in there so everything's all happy. Now, we need to do some wiring. Whoo! Oh, and we gotta bleed brakes. Bum, 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 bum. Kinda got a mess. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Yeah. Now with wiring, this is one thing that needs to be done properly, but it is definitely boring. So, I'm gonna kinda just give you guys a quick little rundown on this thing as I'm kinda cleaning up real fast, because, you know, wiring also is super scary. It oftentimes intimidates the heck out of people, because when you do it wrong, well, guess what? You can have a whole lot of trouble. The vehicle itself can sparkulate, and next thing you know, there's flames coming from everywhere, and I don't say nobody wants that, but normally it's not what people are looking for. So, there's one thing that you can oftentimes do that sometimes folks skip over. This kit comes with one. And that is actually install the little fuse. This right here has a 5 amp fuse in it, and you can usually tell that by just looking at the top of it. Look really closely and you can see that number. Also with fuses, they come in different colors: red, blue, yellow, orange, and that also will indicate the amperage that it is. You skip this step, what happens is if something was to short, that fuse will burn out. Saves the day. You don't, you'll let all the smoke out of that wire, and then hopefully it stops there. You know, the vehicle doesn't have like people showing up with them cool hats, cool jackets, and that giant hose. Now this kit also comes with a cool little light. Woo-wee. That's the Mayday, you know what I mean? So when you push this thing tells you, it goes bling. Hey, you got the brake on by the switch. Let's do some of this wiring real fast. All right, let's climb up in this thing. Do. Oh yeah, there's some crazy artwork. Oh yes. What is that they say? Flooring matches the walls? I don't know. Anyhow, look at this, man. Have y'all seen that? Barefoot gas pedal. Oh yeah, barefoot gas pedal. American flag, Dodge steering wheel. Now we're gonna have to find us a place to put this thing. A little old red button, we're gonna put that thing somewhere right here in the plain sight. Cause I want it to be like, hello! And our little button, and it's kinda crazy looking. Could slide it over here on the turn signal. Let's think about it. If you're gonna be doing smoky burnouts, you're not gonna have your hand on the steering wheel. Could have it here. Yeah, that looks like that'd be a little better of a design, because I don't really have nothing else. You could put it on the steering column. Yeah, most folks would have it on the shifter. We don't have one of those, not like that. I'm thinking nothing but the best. Some simple zip ties, and we'll call that good. Well, today is a new day. It took a little longer to get the wiring done, and also we had to bleed those brakes. And if y'all have ever done that kind of work, you know that that sucks. So I didn't want to show it to you. However, the light comes on, the button works, the little solenoid makes a clicking noise. So it's time to take this thing out and see what it's going to do. Now, exactly what, I'm not real sure. However, what I'm hoping happens is we hit the brakes, push the button, front brakes, clamp, and we release the brakes. The back ones are freed up for all the festivities. And then the next thing you know, we stomp on the gas pedal and smoke is boiling out from under this thing, caused by the rear tire spinning at a high rate of speed. So without further ado, let's see what this thing will do. Oh, not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. Pardon the primitiveness of this, but that's what we're doing. We're on like a budget here. This is going to be awesome. Woo. Yep, this is going to be fun. It's going to be large, and it's going to be something. Whew, sure hope that you get to stay over there, because whenever we get this thing motivating and gyrating like it's supposed to, you don't ever know what it can do. Like, you might flippity floppy and wind up back there somewhere. We'll just have to see. Yeah, we're gonna get up here. We're in a closed facility right here. We've had the road shut down, everything blocked off. You know, we're professionals here. We're gonna let everything run for just a second. Let me calm down. Jab of brakes, hold this thing. See how it works. Funny story. Take two. Starting to perspire. It could be nerves. This time we'll pump up the brakes. Hold the line lock. Turn the wheel. See what it does. Easy Louisies. Where's my camera go? Sorry, everything's a little jumbled up, as you could imagine. Whew. This is where we're at. It may be that this roll control may not be able to hold these front wheels. I think we're going to try it with just a standard old power brake kind of burnout. Don't know if it'll work. Almost worth a shot though. She's in gear. Let's just torque it a little. You guys gotta stay with me. Where are you going? So for you guys to stay with me, this is what we're gonna do.
I can't get the line lock to hold the front tires. So we could spray water on the ground, do all that, but guess what? It ain't. So we're just gonna hard launch this dude. A lot of times folks spend a whole bunch of money to get a car to bite. It's hot out here, the pavement's hot, it's really coarse pavement, and there's 4 massive tires back there in the back. So I'm just gonna put this dude in drive, launch it to about 2nd gear, so you guys get to see what this experience is all about. Yeah, it's awesome. Woo! That dude motivates, son. Woo! Guys, 2nd gear gives me goosebumps. We gonna try this again? Smells like burnt rubber in here. Jeez, we got a burnout up here. Holy cow, this thing left black marks, probably like a long ways. Yep. I'm gonna stop right here, just so you guys can see them all. Whew. We'll cut this off for a second. I don't know why I won't cut it off, because I'm kind of turned, you know. I guess you could call that a success. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but if you'll turn around right over here, there's about, I don't know, 40, 50 foot of some black marks on the pavement. Success. The line lock didn't hold, but if you'll notice, the thing's got a whole lot of, let's say, umph. Them front tires get a little light when it launches, and then when they lift, the tires don't bite as hard, and the tires are kind of rolling, and yeah, we may have met and exceeded the limitations of that little roll control. But this was fun. So if you guys have enjoyed this, we're taking this thing to the track. Yep, we're wanting to see what this thing will actually do once it hits that. Oh yeah, by the way, we also have t-shirts of this thing. All you gotta do is go to the website. Guys, I appreciate you following along with us. I'm kind of jacked up, so I think we got more driving to do. But I gotta check these out first.